ready, you better be ready, because it's almost showtime. Come on. Let's do this. Hey guys!
What's going on? Welcome to the 1UP Weekly Live. Yeah. That was really good, Ralph. I'm actually got this tuned to E flat, and you actually hit the note right. That's pretty good. Normally I do standard E. So anyway, what is going on, guys? We are here. It's Saturday night. It's not our normal time.
I know.
But that's because tomorrow's Father's Day. And, Ralph feels a little guilty about doing a show on Father's Day. So I was like,
I do, actually.
whatevs, let's go Saturday, right?
And so should you guys for watching if we did do it. So
That's right.
You guys should be with your family. So yeah.
That's right. So we have a packed episode tonight, and we're so excited that you joined us. Well, okay, fine. We were planning on just doing a little chill thing. I had this whole thing planned out, and about 10 minutes ago, Ralph all freaked out and wrote a new outline for the entire show. Stole a whole bunch of ideas from future episodes to pack it in tonight. It's like, I don't want to do the thing where we just like wing it. And I'm like, okay, fine.
That's not what happened. Actually, so what happened is Justin ignored me for the last 20 minutes.
I normally do that.
I was like, hey, let's just like prepare a little bit because like there were some things I wanted to bring up. And he was just playing the guitar, basically ignoring me the whole entire time. So what he does on the show sometimes to like totally just like mess with me, he was doing like as I was trying to prepare. So that's cool. But we can just chill. Why can't we just chill, Lewis says. Lewis is basically like, Ralph, you're uptight. Chill. It's Father's Day weekend.
Man.
Like,
come on.
He's like, you're uptight. My family, he's excited.
Okay. So here's the thing that we're going to be talking about that Ralph really wants to talk about. He sold 3 arcades. Give it up for Ralph. A new arcade seller, right? He's in the business of buying and selling arcades now. This is fantastic, Ralph.
The business of buying and selling arcades. So
hey, all I know is you didn't own arcades, then you bought 3 of them, then you sold 3 of them. I'd say that's a business.
Okay. Justin's just being a jerk. So yeah, so I ended up selling 3, and I have a lot more than 3, but yeah, so downstairs.
How many does it take to make it officially a business?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Oh
is it
God.
Retro Ralph LLC? That's officially a business, man.
Okay, sure. Yep, I'm selling arcades. I have an arcade business now, guys. If you guys want to buy full-size arcades, come to Retro Ralph. I am selling all the arcade. He's being a jerk. Anyway, so yeah, so I sold 3 of them. 2 of them one of them in particular, I can't believe I sold, but I posted them because I needed some space back. I needed a little bit. So I sold off a couple, but they're the full-size ones. So I sold off House of the Dead. That one actually kind of stung to sell, but it's too big. Like I kind of forgot. Sometimes you if you're doing auctions, you get super excited and you see them like, oh my gosh, it's House of the Dead. And you start bidding and there's an excitement on bidding, and I got it for a really good price. And then I was like, crap, when it came and the guy's like got the lift gate and he's lowering the thing down, Justin, and I'm all, holy crap, the thing is huge. It's like, doesn't make any sense. So anyway, so I sold it even though it's really a cool cabinet. Then the San Francisco Rush Rock Racing one, I had the green one. It actually had a bunch of problems. So the board actually like wouldn't post all the time. So it wouldn't actually go through the power on self-test and start the game. It would do it only sometimes. And then the monitor was broken. I'm like, I don't know if I really have the time to sink into it. So I decided to let that one go. And then the guy that came to pick him up, he's like, hey, man, you got a Lethal Enforcers in the back. I was like, dude, the board's not even in it. It's literally just the cabinet with the guns. And the guns were messed up because I'll tell you the story really quick. So when I bought the Lethal Enforcers, which I think we showed on the show because I had it in the back of my Jeep, when I took it off my Jeep, and I opened when I bought it, the guy didn't secure the control panel. So imagine the cabinet, the guns were in perfect working order, right? So I bought a working arcade. I take it out of the back of the Jeep, and the control panel flies forward, and the guns go shooting out, and they just smash on the ground. Yeah, they just smashed on the ground. So, but the guy wanted to buy it. So really, he was just buying an empty cab. But
so what you're saying is Ralph is selling arcades out of the back of his Jeep outside of Walmart. That's what's happening. Zerio, thank you so much. Well, that's fantastic, Ralph. Now,
do you know where the money went? Can I tell you where the money's going?
Where'd it go?
Guess where the money's going. Guess. Where would I put the money of these sold cabinets? Where's it going?
Towards your wedding.
It is, actually. Yep.
Boom. Well,
Very
that was
good.
unfair because,
Yeah,
it
that was
makes a lot of sense, actually.
Look at actually.
So check it
Nikki-
out. We got about 100 people on here. There is something that I'm dying to talk about today, but Ralph said we're only going to talk about it if we hit 150 concurrent stream, and then we'll talk about it. So if you're here, stay on board. Maybe we get some more people to join. Hit that like button. Maybe we can motivate Ralph to let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about it, man.
Okay, but there's one thing. So I'm a little bit actually uncomfortable with this because I kind of thought he was kidding about this going into the show. It's a topic that's going to get a little hairy. Like, it's going to get a little bit. If we reach 150, I guess we're going to talk about it. I don't even feel comfortable talking about it at 150 because I don't feel like there was enough preparation to talk about it. But I don't think we're going to hit 150, so I think we're safe.
So we're safe.
So at least for right now, unless you guys are like calling up people to like, to do it. But
so Ralph, let me ask you something. I'm just gonna.
By the way, the Play Choice 10 is still here. I still have that.
See what you're doing.
Nacho asked about
just
that.
Like, you're like interrupting me. You're like, because you don't want the agenda that I have, going to be.
Go.
Dude, I love how you love Streets of Rage, right?
Yeah,
you love Streets of Rage. So there's something you haven't seen this, I don't think, that I really want to show you. And so we're gonna do this real quick. Streets of Rage. Check this out. With Jackie Chan dubbed game sounds.
Oh my gosh, let's watch a little bit more. Hold on. Wait, what? Oh my gosh, I like this. This is cool.
Oh, that's really good, man.
How long is this?
I don't know.
Oh
5 minutes. We can't watch the whole thing. So anyway, so you guys gotta go check that out. That's retrosfx.com. That's the name of the YouTube channel. We'll put links in the description after the video's over. It's Jackie Chan
awesome.
dubbed with Street Fighter 2 game sounds. So there we go.
Okay, that's cool. All right, that's pretty awesome. So
see, look, dude, people are counting. There's
oh gosh,
if you're just joining it, we're trying to get up to
I'm
150.
I'm just letting you guys
unlock.
know. I'm just letting you guys know. And this isn't shtick or anything. I'm actually like quite concerned if we do talk about it because it's a super slippery slope because there's like a way to talk about it. It's just a slippery slope. Because
maybe we just keep on putting so many disclaimers on it. Dude, check this out. Let's talk about NBA Jam for a moment. Let's get the mind off of that. Just don't worry about it. We'll rotate back to that other thing. There's a reason why I'm rotating to it. So NBA Jam, you've been talking on Twitter, a couple of things on Facebook where some people are complaining that they're having some connection issues with the NBA Jam. So do you want to talk about that technology and why people are having those issues and, what's the fix?
Yeah, so I'm definitely not a networking guru. That was one area. I was actually, for work, I started with fiber channel networks, not Ethernet networks. So I'm definitely not an Ethernet or a TCP/IP expert, but I can give you my like layman's terms and then you can fill it in. So basically, there's like a handshake that happens between the two systems in peer-to-peer. Mm-hmm. And if one is like more secure than the other, so like if one says like I'm a super secure connection and the other one says it's not, they tend to come together and go, well, we don't agree that this is a secure connection, and one just kind of goes, I'm good. Like I'm not going to do this. Like I'm not going to join this connection or whatever, participate in this. But how you get away from that is like my router puts everything in a secure mode. So it's called secure network. Is it network? And NAT is networks. So I can't remember what NAT stands for.
Address translation.
Yeah. So network address translation. So if NAT is in secure mode, and routers call it different things, by the way, but if NAT is in secure mode and someone else's is in open mode, it'll actually like fail to connect sometimes. Mm-hmm. It doesn't always though, which is weird. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But as soon as I
want to do the layman's term, the problem is your firewall. Your router has like a firewall in it; it's blocking it. Open it up, and you're good now.
Yeah. So basically, there's two ways that you can solve it really easily. One would be to just make it open NAT so that you're not doing a secure NAT. The other way is you could put that you could put your IP address of your NBA Jam on what's called the DMZ. So you're actually like putting it in front of you're putting it out in the open, basically. You're saying like, hey, this guy's open for business. Doesn't matter.
Right.
All the ports are open, everything. Now, there's not really a risk factor in that. There could be, but
yeah,
I mean, that's a pretty closed off system for the most
You're probably
part.
going to have it off most of the time, right?
Yeah. So I don't think people are going to,
So let me do the PR version of it. Okay. To reduce the latency, Code Mystic came up with a technology that allows a true peer-to-peer network. So your cab is actually direct connecting to another person's house. Although there is a server, the server is used for, leaderboards and high scores. The information that's being submitted from your house to another person's house is just the button clicks. And if there's a problem with the router, it can't send those messages to the other house. And then it disconnects. They could, for example, put a server in the cloud that everything goes through, but that would increase the latency times 2. The time it takes to go to the server and time it takes to come to the other house. So to reduce that latency, it's peer-to-peer. And some home networks are not compatible with that. But this is a generic technology. This is the same problem you would have if you would be using a completely different device using exactly the same technology.
Yeah. And honestly, I'll say this. The cool thing about it is I'll tell this story. So I was testing it, right? So I changed some of my network settings because I have this like crazy network. It's like a business Wi-Fi mesh, and it's like supposed to be prosumer type stuff. And anyways, it works pretty well, but it's also super secure. So anyways, I was having a little bit of issue with it. And that's why I didn't want to I really didn't want to do the review on it because I'm like, well, shoot, Justin doesn't even have the cab yet, so I couldn't.
I get it like Wednesday or something.
Yeah, so I couldn't test the favorites function, and then I was just having like sporadic problems. But I knew like, hey, maybe I should look into it a little bit more before I just blanketly, it would be unfair for me to say a review and go, oh my gosh, it's total junk, it doesn't work, when really it was something that I could correct on my end. And probably most routers probably wouldn't have the problem that mine does. But anyways, long story short, I fix it. I'm excited. I go to join a game and I play this guy, and I join his game mid-game.
Oh, that's right. You're telling me about this. This is really cool.
And it was a heated game back and forth. Like we were within 3 points to 2 points, like the whole game. And then Kim hears me go, son of a bitch. Because I was like, I lost right at the end. It was like a couple seconds left. He hits a 3-pointer. Like he won by like 3 to 5 points. So I was so bummed. I was almost there. And literally so first of all, I'll just tell you, Justin, the experience was awesome. Like, it felt like I was playing it local. So I was super stoked because that's what Code Mystics does. They're good at this. And so they did a good job. Like, it was awesome. But then like maybe 30 seconds later, right?
Oh yeah.
It didn't hit 150. Hold on. 30 seconds later, this guy texts me on Facebook and he's like, hey man, good game. So he saw that Retro Ralph joined his game. So he went and looked me up, which was really cool. And we kind of talked for a little bit after that.
That is cool.
So that was pretty neat because he looked up, he said, good game. And then I added him as a favorite. So it was an awesome experience, honestly. And I think you're going to have some, if someone's internet connection is totally terrible, what the technology is supposed to do is it's supposed to kind of like not allow you to join that game because it knows it can't, give you a good experience. So I think if people give it a little bit of time, make sure your network settings are right, and we'll probably cover it in an episode just to make sure anybody that like might be wondering, can get it fixed. What's going on?
All right, so if you're just joining us, we're trying to
hit 150, but
we're trying to get to 150 concurrents. So if you're here, stick around because we have something we want to talk about. But Ralph said we're not ready to talk about it till next week and later. But I'm like, what, and he's like, okay, if we get to 150, we'll talk about it. And I really want to talk about it. And we're getting really close. We got 148. We got to get to that.
Someone said Mike said it hit 151 actually, but I didn't see it. Maybe it did for a minute.
Maybe it did. Hit that like button. Bring in some more people because we want to talk. I want to talk about this, and Ralph doesn't, but he will if we get the right numbers. And I think it'll be really exciting I'm not really excited to talk about it. I want other people to know about it. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah. So there was this just chat was up, but I think you removed it. It was from Don. He said, Ralph, is that the new vertical cab from Rec Room Masters? It is. So it is the new vertical cab. So way different design, by the way, guys. Like, it's designed for pinball. So you got your flippers and nudge buttons on the side. That button that's right there over my shoulder, that's your actual plunger button. It's actually meant to stand up and play versus just what?
Someone's streaming on 3 different devices to get that number.
No, shut up.
That's awesome. Some people are saying we hit the 150. All right. So I think we'll talk about something else real quick. There was something that came in actually today I saw this, and both Ralph and I were like texting each other like at the same time. And it was like, wait, what's this? Why is this happening? And so iiRcade sent an email out today. And it's we've been following this for a while. It's a pretty interesting project that's coming out. It's a Kickstarter. It's an arcade cabinet. It's going to come with 10 games built in, and then there's about 170 to 200 total games that you can purchase after you get it, right? Like a la carte. It's going to start at $2.99 for the Kickstarter. But Jung sent out an email that was all like, "Hey, I'm sure you're super excited about that, but let me tell you something that's even cooler." And that cooler thing is, if you're the first 100 people to buy this cabinet, it's going to be signed by me. And we were both like, okay.
And honestly, Justin, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful, because I have a lot of respect for the fact that, he's starting this company and he's making an arcade cabinet in a very competitive market right now. But like, it made me wonder, like, is Zhang famous in like the video game space? And he's not. So like, I mean,
honestly, I think it's their PR guy. I think they have a PR guy that's really it's a third party contractor who's being paid by iiRcade to help promote and he comes up with ideas and he says, "Hey, I got this idea where we do this thing where you sign the first 100. And Jung is like, "Oh, is that a good thing?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, it's a really good thing. You should do it." And he's like, "Okay, send the email out."
I mean, I'm gonna be honest,
but it's like not that cool, actually.
I'm gonna be honest. It's weird. It's a weird thing to me. I don't know why anyone would I honestly don't know why. No disrespect. I don't know why anyone would care about this. Like, this gives me 0.0 reasons to want to buy it more. It's just it's a weird thing. I don't get it.
I don't know. Maybe we're shining too much light on a simple thing, But it struck us as weird, and we wanted to mention that. And I don't know, like, we didn't really hit the 150 on our side. Some people, I just got a text by somebody that said we did hit 151. Does that mean we're going to talk about it, Ralph, or what?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. You just got to make a decision.
Oh, it's
Ralph.
150. It just hit 150.
Okay. Then let's be it.
Okay. Now, I just want you guys to know that literally, I still don't really want to talk about it, but I will.
Here's the deal. Let me explain it.
We need to be careful, though.
Yeah, Ralph and I have been talking about this for the last couple of days. We don't want to become a channel that's hating on products. That's not really what we want to do. But at the same time, we want to be honest. And we feel that we've put together an audience, a crowd of people that like watching our show. And it would be wrong for us not to bring this up. It would be wrong. We now have knowledge of something that we researched, and we've been telling people about a product that we are going to get. And we've been telling people maybe you should get it too.
And by the way, we're 100% going to do it. And actually, we'll probably even do it live on air. We're going to do it where you see us buy it. We're going to buy it. So we are going to both invest in the Kickstarter. But I feel like, this was a weird thing. So earlier, I don't know if you guys remember, but we did talk about this, Justin, you and I, on a show. It's just that it was brought up so quickly that we kind of just glazed over it, right? It was in the original, when we went to check this thing out at CES, we were both still kind of like, who are these people? Like, we're talking about who they are.
What are we talking about?
iiRcade.
Hold on a second. Before we get into that, hold on. It's actually not iiRcade, dude. It's not. You're pronouncing it wrong. It's not iiRcade.
Seriously, I don't get you tonight. What are you even talking about? Like, seriously,
check this out.
You're so off the train tracks.
I'm gonna prove it to you. Listen very closely, everybody.
All right.
What if you could play all the modern games and classic games you love on a single device that takes you back in time? This is iiRcade.
iiRcade.
An upright gaming.
What are you talking about? I didn't hear him say anything.
Modern technology.
He said iiRcade.
No. He said iiRcade.
So it's not iiRcade? It's not iiRcade?
Listen very closely.
iiRcade puts control in your hands.
Since when is it iiRcade? We've been calling it iiRcade the whole time.
Yeah. The second, check it out, dude. The second I is silent. It's not iiRcade. It's iiRcade. The second I is silent.
okay, right now I have a problem with you because oh, all right, Justin. So why would you put the I'm just talking to you right now. Why would you put the other eye there then if
it's like we with two eyes, but you don't pronounce it with the eyes at all, and it's iiRcade with two eyes, but it's pronounced iiRcade.
Okay, this is actually not the thing that we were going to talk about. I didn't even know that you're going to talk about this. So
the reason why is because I know you're about to talk about HOPii.
Hold on 1 second.
HOPii, not HOPii.
Just hold on. What?
See?
Does everyone else think it was iiRcade or one eye? Because everyone's been saying II.
Yeah.
I just want to know.
Zero Hero figured it out. The extra eye is free.
Whatever.
It's such a good product. They give you an eye for free.
Okay. So anyways, so I'm going to, so basically what we were talking about is Justin and I didn't, you totally derailed me. So Justin and I didn't know who this company, like who it was. And whatever. So when we looked at the original press release, it said something in there and I brought it up on the show, but then I had no desire to go research it, which is weird because I like beer. I just didn't want to talk about it anymore. I was just like, whatever. But the thing in the press release was talking about how Zhang, the founder, was also the founder of a product called HOPii or HOPii, I guess. Except that,
who knows?
So they made another product with the IIs, except they put the IIs at the end instead of the front, which is weird in general.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we've talked about before, where they built a company previously called HOPii, and now it's iiRcade or whatever. And the companies are the same because they love eyes, but also the CEO was Zhang on both of them. But there's a problem with HOPii.
Yeah,
what is that, Ralph?
So here's the thing. So I'll go through. I do have the article I'll share, but I won't share it till after we talk a little bit more. So when I just out of curiosity, Justin and I were talking the other day. I'm like, I'm gonna go see if the HOPii thing was successful because I didn't even think about that. Like he's had a product before,
and that was a Kickstarter before.
Well, I didn't know it was a Kickstarter until I actually went and did some research. So HOPii was a Kickstarter, and it was a home brewing, really kind of a cool home brewing device. Where you could it was basically brewing your beer at home idiot proof, which is really cool because I've seen what it takes to brew beer at home and I have no interest in doing all that.
It's like a tabletop brewing system, countertop brewing system.
It's basically so instead of a countertop arcade, it was a countertop beer brewer.
This dude loves his eyes and he loves countertops.
So here's what happened. And the reason why I want to be sensitive around this is because there's parts of this that we don't know, right? There's parts of it that are completely unknown to everybody, even the people that originally funded that Kickstarter and the Indiegogo. So I'm going to bring this up really quick. And keep in mind, this is not to deter you. This is just educational. It's not meant to deter you from investing in anything. So when I saw that I couldn't find the HOPii product, it made me wonder, what happened to it? So I started doing a little bit more research, and I found that this was another crowdfunding project. Now, in this article, they're talking about some other products that didn't make it. Now, the cool thing about this HOPii product is it actually was recognized at CES as being some sort of lead innovation product or something. It's actually in here if I can find it, because I didn't know we were actually going to talk about it tonight. I can't remember, but it was some kind of smart innovation. It won an award, or it was either up for an award.
Yeah, it's right there at the bottom, right?
Yeah, there we go. It was so it was basically a hit. It was part of the startup showcase at last year's Smart Kitchen Summit and was an innovation award honoree at that year's CES, which I think would have been 2018 CES. Now they made $380,000. So I mean they rose. What would be the proper term?
They raised.
Yeah, they raised $380,000 for this product. Now, the thing is, what this article is talking about is that basically the last update was from Zhang here. And, obviously Zhang's definitely an entrepreneur. He was the founder of this product, but he wrote this really kind of sad email to read. But it was basically look, the project's kind of going to cease to exist. And he kind of implied that there was a legal battle, but he didn't say with who. And this article implies it was LG. Now that made me wonder, well, why LG, right?
Right.
Like why did they, why would LG be trying to sue Zhang? Well, come to find out, Zhang used to work for LG.
Yeah.
And he was part of this product management and innovations, department or arm of LG Electronics. So, this is my speculation, but I'm like, well,
Yeah. This
were
part's
they
complete speculation.
Yeah,
But if
were
you
they
put it
potentially-
together, yeah, he used to work at LG. Then he's founder, president, and CEO of HOPii, which, according to that article, had potentially a lawsuit with LG. Why? I'm sure you can draw that conclusion. But in the end, it made that Kickstarter be a failure. And probably like LG, again, guessing here, LG did an injunction at last minute saying, you can't use our technology. I'm just guessing here. You can't sell that product, which prevented them from producing it. What we do know that's a fact is no one ever got this product.
Yeah, and when you go over it, it's kind of sad because you go over to. I mean, Zhang wrote this really nice letter and talks about all these things, but like in the grand scheme of things, like this guy's still hanging on. Like this guy Jason wrote a bunch of messages, and he's like, looks like he's at it again. Now that's not fair. He's kind of being negative there, but it says the CEO is now part of another company. Now this isn't a character attack or anything like that because we don't know actually what happened. But it's just, here's the only reason why I think this is something that's worth going into. For one, I was kind of surprised, right? I was like, oh crap, like he doesn't actually have a successful Kickstarter that happened. Now, if it was because of a legal battle, obviously there's nothing you could do about that, right? It happened.
Right. And maybe he can't talk about it at all either. Legal battles, a lot of times, gag order, things like that. Like you just can't bring it up. It's just like, and maybe he would love to. Maybe he'd say, look, there was it was a buyout or who knows? I don't know. But the fact is, it was a Kickstarter. And I think that's the caution we're trying to say to people is come Tuesday, iiRcade is going to be starting their Kickstarter for their tabletop arcade cabinet. And what we're telling you, it appears that their previous Kickstarter failed. We're not saying that iiRcade's going to fail, but if you're going to go spend $300, make sure those risks. And we don't want to become a hate channel. We want to become a tech information channel.
It's an educational thing. There's no like, oh my gosh, this is nothing. You know what I mean? Like we don't know. The one thing is like, so it didn't work out. They raised the $380,000. It didn't work out. It looks like there was a legal problem, but again, he probably can't talk about the legal problem. So it's one of those things where we won't actually know, and I'm sure he probably can't talk about it publicly. So it's one of those things where it just kind of like feels weird.
Right.
It feels weird, but now it's not fake news or anything. It's just, you can go to the Kickstarter. You can see all the information. I urge you to do your own research.
Right.
But go to the website. You'll see that there are people that, are bummed about not the product because there are people that were excited. There was a question, was the money refunded? Have no idea. You know what I mean? Don't know that. You could almost take the comments and it might imply that it wasn't, but there's no real way to really know. So I don't know. But it's one of those things, bummer.
Right. Yeah, so that's the thing that we wanted to basically tell and let us know if you guys are familiar with the situation or you do more research on your own out of your curiosity. We'd love to hear from you. We do plan at this time to back this Kickstarter. We do want it to succeed. We do think that another product into the community, especially another product that believes in licensing products, and that's their focal point, is to get games legitimately, and get them into your home. We love the idea that this will come with 10 games, and then you can add more, pick and choose a la carte, right? You want to spend $3 on a game and add it to your cab? You can do that with the iiRcade. Yeah. And that's a technology that we haven't seen anyone do well, right? And so for that's cool. Right. And
I mean, Justin, you bring up that was one thing we said on the last time we were talking about this product. We were excited because honestly, when someone supports, supports the companies that make these games and they're licensing games properly, that actually helps the longevity of retro gaming, right?
That's right.
If you're getting games illegally, and let's just say no one was supporting the publishers of the companies anymore. I mean, ultimately, the only thing you'd have is illegal access, and all the legally commercially available stuff would just cease to exist because they wouldn't be making any money. So I mean, there is that weird area where it's like, wow, if someone's so far in the other direction, like if 1UP wasn't doing things the way they are, they wouldn't be as successful, and I don't think we would see, it thriving the way it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think iiRcade has the opportunity to also follow suit by paying the licensors, making it legitimate. So there is some really good things here. It's just there's always that, like, this one is a gray area for me.
Yep. Yeah, that's basically that topic. It definitely is something to be concerned about, but we don't necessarily want to deter people from purchasing it. It's really do your own investigation, come up with your own conclusion, and then any Kickstarter comes at a risk. I mean, I've done several Kickstarters, and fortunately, the ones that I've done and my wife has done, we did get the product, months later. But I'm sure there's tons of people out there that have invested in products that never came, and that sucks.
Yeah, and I can't stress enough though. This is really more of a, hey, this is legitimately me going, hey, you know what? I remember reading that the guy did beer before. Let's see what happened. And come to find out, it was a Kickstarter. It wasn't successful, and it looked or appears based on his own the HOPii. You can go to that link if you want. That the Kickstarter comments by HOPii would imply that there was some kind of legal trouble, and they couldn't win. And he writes some really nice things about how this is like disgraceful, and he hates that he has to be in this position. And I get it, because my brother's an entrepreneur. He's had a lot of businesses that he's tried to get off the ground that didn't work. He has a really successful one now. It takes a lot of heart and soul and money, but keep in mind, when it's a Kickstarter, you're crowdfunding the money. You know what I mean? You're using others to help you start that business. And if it doesn't work, a lot of times a lot of the extra burden does fall on those people, that they're not going to get the product, or they're not going to get their money back, or whatever. So, but this is not something that's unique to this situation. It's any Kickstarter, really. I mean, if I think about it, I invested in a Kickstarter I never thought I was going to get, which was like this. It was a cooler that had like a stereo on it and all this crap. And I got it like 3 years later, but at the time I didn't even care anymore. But so sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't. So this would be your concern. True. This level of concern should be there no matter what Kickstarter you're looking at, right? But we just wanted to have an open conversation about it, because I think it's interesting, right? There's a level of risk there.
Yeah, I used to work for this startup, and when it was a very, I think I joined, I was employee 30, and it was a really small company, and we had this idea. The main idea was to provide a cable-like service, but over the internet. So imagine there would be a box that allows you to record and DVR things. Imagine like a Hulu or Disney Plus, but you actually have a box that like could download all of your stuff, and so we built that. We spent 2 years building that entire project. We eventually got $100 million in funding for this project.
Wow!
And then we sold that company to T-Mobile for $300 million. And I was completely out of the game at that point. I moved on to another company. Become 3-4 years later, just found out that T-Mobile seems like they're going to shut down their home television division.
That's so crazy.
The product doesn't look like it's actually going to ever come out on a I think we must have had 10 or 20,000. I don't know how many subscribers we had. I left when those number of subscribers were low, but I remember the customers really loving. I like flew down to Texas and went, and the kids there were like, this is the best television experience I've ever seen, because it would turn on and it would show 5 shows at the same time, and it knew what you like to watch. And you could see them. It was like, dude, we actually built the Back to the Future TV.
Back to the Future TV.
Yeah, we built that.
Oh,
like you turn it on and it shows 5. It only had 5, but we could support 5 videos at the same time. And I'm telling you, man, that experience was so cool, because people would actually click on one of those shows. Like the most popular shows that people were watching are what we showed them based on their recommendation. They were going into it. And it sucks. I wanted that to be like, nationwide product to be available, and it never happened. So even if you got good funding, you get it out there, there's still things that can stop and cause a failure. And I can't even imagine what it would be like to do a Kickstarter, right? Because now you're getting funding directly from a customer, and you got to wait before they even send out the product. But
well, I mean, and what a shame on that. That original product. I'm looking at it right now on my screen. That's why I'm looking in this direction. I had 2 screens here, but yeah, when I'm thinking about it, like this HOPii thing was really cool. It won that award at CES. And then, oh, did you do that? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it's just kind of a shame because it seems like people were pretty excited about it, and it seemed like it was a pretty neat product for the most part. So,
right.
Anything that's home, brew beer at home is kind of neat. And so, I mean, look at all these people were saying a lot of great things about it. CNET gave it a good review.
Yeah.
So
he had a whole bunch of celebrities try it out, and they loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, and it happens. It's just it makes you. At least I'm someone that likes to do research. I love to do research. As a matter of fact, the reason why the whole AtGames NBA Jam Ethernet thing, that's just research. Like curiosity comes to me sometimes, and I can't believe I took this long to even look into the original company because I'm like, I knew what it was. You knew what it was, Justin. We just didn't look into it. And so, yeah, it would have been kind of a neat little product, but it didn't.
So I got to answer one question. So he asks, "Are you any good at Guitar Hero?" I'm amazing at Guitar Hero, by the way. just saying, if you ever want to play Guitar Hero.
Yeah. And I don't know, I don't think this would be something like I would want to have a conversation with if Zhang was going to come on the show or something. I would want to have a conversation with him offline first to see if he'd even want to talk about it or if he even could. Right? It'd be one of those things. Yeah. He might be like, yeah, I can't talk about it, and then we wouldn't talk about it, right? But we've at least brought some awareness to you guys that hey, there was a Kickstarter, didn't work out, seems like a legal issue, and he's got a new company, and we do think that what he's doing is cool. Yeah. So we're going to invest in it, but. Anyways, that was what it was. I really was worried, right? Because I feel like if you're joining the show at certain times and you didn't hear the whole story, you're going to be like, wait, what are they talking about? Don't invest in the Kickstarter. And that's not actually what I'm saying. It's just proceed with caution on any Kickstarter. It's just how it goes.
That's right. No, it's not final thoughts time.
No, it's not.
It's not, but it is make fun of Ralph time, right?
Cool.
Is it?
Why? Why is it make fun of Ralph time?
Oh, I had a lot of people reach out to me in the last couple of weeks and be like, you stopped making fun of Ralph. You got to make fun of Ralph more. No. Go ahead, Ralph. I was just messing with you. I'm not going to do anything.
No, I don't. I feel like there's only like a couple people in the chat that aren't taking it the right way. And I hope that you guys understand what we're trying to say here. It's not a matter of, don't invest. It's just a matter of like anything else. And other people have said this about any Kickstarter. It's not like this is something new. It's just, proceed with caution. It's just one of those things. We're being respectful about it. I'm not saying that because, we don't know. We don't know what happened legally. It could have been something really terrible. And maybe literally whatever it was so bad that it took all the crowdfunding money to fight it and he had nothing left. I mean, that could have very well happened. That'd be really sad. So it's just a matter of that's how it goes, No, there's no final thoughts yet.
No final thoughts.
Jeff gets me. Jeff knows where I'm coming from.
Yeah, it's the caution, man.
Yeah,
I think Ralph, it's good. I think some people are just messing with you like this.
Probably.
Don't invest guy, beer with Joe. He's like, don't invest. He's just poking fun of you,
joking.
man.
I know. Well, it's easy to make fun of me. So I did want to talk about something, Justin. So speaking of like, we have talked about this element of iiRcade, right? Like the reasons why we like certain products is the nostalgic vibes or feelings it gives us. That was kind of if when none of these other products existed and the only 3/4 scale product was AtGames1up, my interest was piqued because the first one I saw was the Street Fighter, and I loved Street Fighter. Had no clue that the controls weren't going to be that good, that it was going to be a version 1 product, that the deck protector the deck was going to have all the oil issues with it. I didn't know, but I wanted it so bad because it was Street Fighter. And so sometimes the nostalgia, and now they've like come a long way and made you look at NBA Jam and Star Wars is pretty cool. But when I look at like this, I went and bought another, like I buy all these retro products and certain ones just pull on the heartstrings. You know that, right? Like you look at like, Numbskull, right? The Numbskull arcades, those are like, they're literally as down to the every little detail possible. Looks like the original one, like the cabinet shape. Are you listening to me?
I'm listening. This has turned into a phone call with Retro Ralph.
Yeah, I know. But hey, so but the thing is, right? So I got the Evercade. So
you got the Evercade.
I ordered it forever ago and I kind of forgot about it. But then when it was funny, I made a community post on Facebook or on YouTube to try to like see what other people were interested, and everyone was kind of like, whatever. But the thing, it looks like this, right? So it doesn't necessarily look, it doesn't have a look to it that's making you kind of like, oh my gosh, I gotta have it, right? But it has a decent screen size. And
let's
stuff
see.
like
This
that.
is the opposite of NBA Jam, because NBA Jam cabinet allows you to play with other people, but that one you can only play by yourself, right?
Well,
it's
like, yeah, but it's a handheld. It's supposed to kind of
do
like.
You
bring...
need some time all alone with your with your Evercade. Sometimes Ralph needs some time all alone, so he buys that handheld and plays with himself.
All right, come on. Come on.
I know it's hard to break. I don't know where I'm going.
Okay, can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I just love the look on his face when I mess with him. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, I'll answer this question in a minute. So this is a chill stream. So I don't, but I'll answer the question in a minute. So the thing I do love about this, right? It doesn't pull on your nostalgic heartstrings, but what it does do is they're trying to bring back the idea of like cartridges, right? Games on cartridges. They're not single games. There's a couple of them on here.
That's kind of cool.
And it's kind of cool. Yeah, they have little packs. Like they have a Namco pack, and this is the Namco Museum pack. And then they have, if you guys have ever played that game Coffee Crisis, it's like a newer title that came out a couple years ago for Sega Genesis. They have like that company that made it. It's Mad Cat Studios, so they have their own little pack. So it's kind of cool.
Mad Cat Studio.
They have they have the Glenn's Retro Show pack, the Atari pack. So I mean, that's a joke. Glenn loves Atari. But yeah, I don't know. I bought it and I'm like, it's kind of cool, but like the more I play with it, I'm like, all right, the screen's good, the button's good, the D-pad's good. Like, why don't I love it? And I think I don't love it because it's like it doesn't have any kind of nostalgic feeling to it. It's just kind of like a thing, right? That plays retro games. It is cool though. Like I think it's cool, but I wouldn't like necessarily scream from the mountaintops for someone to go buy it. It's gonna, it'll be for certain people and not for others. But anyway, I brought that up because I think it's interesting. I wonder, my curiosity kicks in about iiRcade's will people not be as into it because it doesn't look like any kind of arcade that you remember it looking like, or do you not care? I don't know. I just think that the Coffee Crisis is cool. I wonder if you guys. Oh yeah. Oh really? Zohar never heard of it. Yeah, dude, it's pretty cool. It's really cool. Okay, so they think I have something against AtGames. I don't see an AtGames weekly channel. Oh, I do think Ralph has something against AtGames. I don't see an AtGames.
Here's the deal. We can explain this really simple. The term 1UP has been used prior to Arcade1up, and it's not tied to Arcade1up. But we can't make a channel called AtGames Weekly because it's directly tied to AtGames.
Yeah, it's tied to AtGames. Yeah, so I'll be completely frank on I don't hate it. I think they're doing some really cool things. I really did like when it first came out. I did like the fact that they went with like a really easy to assemble design, and it was like more the standard arcade height. I did like all that. Where it gets, so I'll Justin, I'm gonna try to walk through this. So will you bear with me a little bit? Like, do you mind?
You mean like stop playing music? Is that what you're saying?
No, you can, but not like too much. That's okay. Well, because it distracts me, and then I can actually like remember what I'm saying.
Ralph is a vampire.
Rexer Show's trying to be a jerk, right? All right. So, anyways, so I was covering a lot of when the product first came out. I went and bought it because I had done an interview with David McIntosh, who at the time worked for Chizcom, and Chizcom was doing the marketing for AtGames. Actually, still does. So, so I knew David from Arcade1up, and I went and saw the product, and what I saw in the booth was very much like not baked yet, but was kind of cool. Like there were some really neat things about it. So I was excited. When it came out, I got it. And I was working with them a little bit closer. Like I was actually like interfacing with people at the company. And it was fun, but it was like the firmware releases and firmware releases and firmware releases and firmware releases. Now being in IT, what? It's actually my uncle. No, it's not. Is it? See, I'd actually believe that if he was being honest. So anyway, so it kept on being like firmware releases after firmware release. And what that felt like to me is like, I work in technology. We sell hardware and software solutions. If we released a product to market and I kept doing, and we had 25 software, revisions or whatever the quantity was that fast, we would be internally, we'd be saying, holy crap, like this wasn't really ready, but we need to fix it in the field. So it just became like cumbersome on me as someone that was covering the product. And I was like, I'm getting burnt out. Like I had all this other stuff. I had traditional arcades. I had Arcade1up. I had all the, like some of the retro gaming stuff I cover that's not, 3/4 scale related. And I didn't have time to do it. So I kind of like just said, I'm done. But what's kind of interesting now is that I feel like they're going in a really weird direction to me that I don't quite understand.
What direction is that?
All right, so this does actually feed into our conversation. Justin, you said the reason why you like...
I didn't say anything. Don't get me in the middle of this at all.
No, you said... Well, I did think it is... Lewis, you're right. I did think it was ugly. That was my one. And I said that in my was good, bad, and ugly video, whatever I called it. But Justin, you said, something that I feel like is important.
What did I say, Ralph?
Well, companies like this, right? Evercade, they're having to work with Atari to license this, right? To bring this to you.
You're going there, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
So Arcade1up's got to license that technology to give you that cabinet with that artwork, with that look and feel, and that's pretty important to me in the sense that, and I'm going to bring it back because you could say I'm somewhat hypocritical, but for a commercial company to do what AtGames is doing right now is really weird to me. And it kind of goes against like being sort of like an advocate for the retro game community now. And I could argue before I even go there, I support, I've got coin ops running everywhere. I support that when it comes to like building a DIY kit with it, right? If you want to go and build a DIY kit and use that, cool. And I like it. I like the builds and everything. But when you're selling a commercial arcade and you start offering things like the Coin Ops X thing. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. So they've built a specialized version of Coin Ops that runs on a USB drive that you put into your Legends Ultimate. Now, initially, before I even dug into it, because again, I'm not really covering it much anymore, but I thought, oh my gosh, how cool is that? You're going to have an alternative user interface for your AtGames that like Coin Ops, but can access the 350 games on the systems. I was like, that's freaking rad. Right. Like, absolutely, that's cool. Really so cool. I have an option to run
Coin Ops has a really good front end, and then being able to access those 350 games on a better front end is really, really cool.
Mike is telling me I'm going too far. I'm not. But here's where it gets dicey for me. That's not what it's doing. Right. So it's not meant to be an alternative front end to the AtGames front end. So and keep in mind, AtGames, commercially available product, just like an Arcade1up, just like iiRcade, right? Now, if the thing that I'm loading on the drive doesn't come with any games and it doesn't access the 350 games that are licensed with the cabinet, then what does it access? What are you putting by enabling this functionality? Now, keep in mind, the hypocritical side of me, this is all running Coin Ops, right? But these are not commercially available arcades that you're buying as a full arcade, like box, this is it. So that's the weirdness for me. It's like, why are you going that direction? Why not put some good games on the cabinet? You know what I mean? Like, why not license some good games? It's just weird. There are some good games in the 350. There are some good games on ArcadeNet. They've got the Metal Slugs and stuff. It's weird for me, man. I don't get it. Like, I don't get how they say something silly like, this is to use your legally obtained ROMs. Legally, do you guys know what MAME provides legally obtained ROMs? They're like the lamest possible. There's 10 or 15 lame MAME games you can play. So like, it's kind of a lie. Like, it's not to play your legally obtained games. It's to play your illegally obtained games. Like, that's a crazy thing for a commercial company to say. So that's weird for me, man.
Yeah.
It's weird for me.
Your son's behind you.
I don't know. What? In like 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll hook you up.
Yeah, it's a little tough for me. So when I'll tell you a quick story of my situation.
He's got money. You must have heard what I said.
Yeah.
He wants something from Fortnite. He's like, yeah, Fortnite. Cool, Dad. What are you doing right now? Oh, there's people watching this right now.
Yeah,
awesome.
So real quick, so one of my first job was anti-piracy. That was my first job. I had a job for 8 years where my job was to go after people that are companies that are enabling people to steal television. That's what kind of got me into the television industry, building UIs, eventually software development. But it all started with the piracy. So you guys probably familiar with like Dish Network piracy long time ago, where you could maybe DirecTV piracy, where you could basically steal television. So I worked for the company, and it was my job to go after companies that were building products. And there were areas where you couldn't touch a company, where you couldn't sue a company.
Justin, I want to understand this. So you were working for DirecTV.
No, it was Dish.
No, Dish Network. And your job was to go after people that would like illegally steal Dish Network?
No. Sell products that would enable you to be able to steal.
Okay, got it.
So if you were at home and you were stealing Dish, I wasn't going after you. I was going after the guy you bought it from, And it wasn't just a dude down the street. It was a manufacturing company in South Korea, in China, that were mass producing these products, and had a company in the United States that was developing all of the software that would enable piracy. Like, these were companies that were making millions of dollars a month, right?
Yeah.
And there's certain...
just real quick. If I had one of these, could I watch like Royal Rumble for free or something? I'm just asking for a friend. I'm asking for a friend.
Right.
Could I watch Royal Rumble for free? All right.
Right. So I'm very familiar what I worked with lawyers and talked to them. I wrote affidavits. I did a lot for this company that would make me familiar with what's gray area and what's not. And Ralph is talking about a subject that's getting very gray. Very gray. Now, I'm not advising anyone that there's any concern you may have by downloading various games and playing them on your arcades. But if this was similar to what I was working on, I was not a company that was going after end users, right?
Yeah, of course.
But when you're building a product this close to piracy, you need to cover your bases a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting. It's like, and guys, obviously, like I promote a lot of stuff that's, to use on your arcade builds that, it's got games on it that you don't own the licenses to. I think the part that makes me feel weird is I never see someone being so bold about it. That's a big company. And like, that could actually, if that did indeed backfire somewhere along the line, that could affect a lot of things we love. So it's kind of been my reason to gravitate away from it over the last, I don't know, probably like 6 months. Maybe it hasn't been 6 months. Yeah, it probably has been. Like, I just don't have any interest in it. I'd rather talk about other things.
Yeah, and that's the thing. About that, whatever, if you guys are interested in that, by all means. But in the retro gaming community, the things that interest me are not piracy. Like I really love projects and I back tons of them. Like, we run through a couple of them. Like the OSSC, the ability to have a scan converter that allows you to play video games from multiple consoles on your LCD. That's a fantastic project that's helping the industry. It's not piracy.
Yeah, for sure.
High def NES, the ability to output high definition 1080p on an original Nintendo, which allows you to play original carts. Not piracy. Fantastic. I've sold over 50 of those. I wish I could do more if I had more time, because I thought that by doing that, I'm helping the industry. And I feel like I am. There's more people that are starting to play these old classic games. Voltar, you can check out his website, voltar.com. He sells RGB mods for Super Nintendo. I think his Super Nintendo one is fantastic, but he also does many other consoles.
Yeah.
Support that. It's fantastic. No piracy involved. Be able to play the original consoles on your modern television, and it looks beautiful. It'll make you cry. The Polymega, which is coming out, is a device, and they are fighting against piracy. They don't want you to be able to pirate, but you can legitimately take all of your old games, plug it into this, and it will download the legitimate cartridge, the game, onto your console, give you a beautiful front end that's maintained by them, not breaking any laws, and allowing you to play those games with commercial emulators on your modern television. That's a fantastic project.
Well,
I could go on and on. Like there's tons of these,
there's
and
tons of them.
That's what's excited me about this space is companies coming out and saying we're going to find legitimate means. And when I say legitimate means, it means like their goal is not to enable piracy. Their goal is to innovate on technologies that enable a better experience for gaming.
Yeah.
Without the focus on piracy. When you're focusing on piracy, you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because like here's one thing. If I was working as like the CTO of AtGames and I had input to give them, I'd be like, you guys have all this technology that's actually really cool, right? Like I already have the ability to stream games. I personally, and you guys can disagree with me, if I bought well, it's right here. I have the AtGames right here. If someone told me, hey guys, we're gonna open up the ArcadeNet, like screw all this other stuff, right? ArcadeNet will have the ability to say like, oh, you like Street Fighter? Oh, we licensed that from Capcom. You can pay $3 for it, or you can pay $5 for it. I do that all day long.
All day long.
Someone made a comment about Napster.
I think they'd make more money.
Yeah, they would. Someone made a comment about Napster. Napster morphed into us being totally fine by going like, I'm gonna go to iTunes and buy this song for $2. And why did we do it? It was convenient. We were like, I don't have to hunt for the games. I don't have to figure out, or I don't have to hunt for the music. And it's just like this. If they had the games and you could buy them, one a la carte or a subscription, whatever it is.
That's right.
They'd figure out how to map all the controls. I wouldn't have to worry about mapping. Like even though I have other means to do it,
that's right.
I'd actually pay for that. And I think you guys would too.
Making the experience better. I do want to comment on this thing. A couple videos ago, I talked about this whole thing when I was 12 years old. I scammed Walmart out of a Super Nintendo by buying it from Target and selling it to Walmart. That's where it all started.
I think someone's calling you out right here.
Yeah, that's where it all started. Like when I was a kid, I did that, and it kept with me, and I didn't like that I did that. And eventually, I got into piracy. I got into Dish Network piracy, in fact, when I was like 19. And then I ended up working for the company because I was an installer, and that led to me talking to them and saying, "Hey, I'm familiar with all this," and I got a job working in anti-piracy. Yeah. And since then, I feel like I'm paying back for the Walmart. You know, it wasn't. I don't know. It was really a scam, but I don't think it's a big scam. But I did feel bad about doing that. But now I mean, I have the AtGames Legends Ultimate, never loaded a game on it. I mean, doesn't make me better than you or anything like that, but I just don't have a desire to do that. Like I literally got the cabinet. I'm like, I'm going to have this for at least 6 months, not touch it and see if I like it. And I'm still on the fence because I'm playing it with just the 350 games on it. My daughter's like, don't ever get rid of the Star Wars cabinet. But any of the other ones, she's fine with me getting rid of.
Well, you've kind of trained her with Star Wars early.
No, she loves Star Wars. So.
No, Mike. Yeah, you said Napster was piracy. Yeah, it was, but it was like the link I was trying to make there. Maybe I wasn't like doing a good job. It's just that it gave us this accessibility to music that we didn't have, and then that morphed into like, hey, Apple going, well, you know what? People want it accessible, and if we made it accessible and stopped making it that it had to be physical, maybe we could actually curve this, and people would actually pay, and we could support the musicians and all that stuff, and it actually worked. So.
That's right. You could kind of say the Nintendo Classic was like that with the Raspberry Pi, where the Raspberry Pi was been out for a long time, right? And it kind of got so popular that Nintendo had to know about it, and they were like, "Oh, embedded devices had gone down to a super low price that we could sell our old Nintendo games back to the people again for like $50, and it could work on that hardware. Let's take our emulators that we've been using in the Wii U and are destined to go into the Switch." And cross-compile them for the ARM and see if they work, which are the same emulators, by the way. They keep on iterating on them. And NES Classic, it was sold millions, right? Which also, I believe, the NES Classic revived the retro gaming industry. A lot of people thought like a bubble was going to burst around that time. And for some people, that was the start of it, right? How many people here, hit one if you're with me, like kind of left like retro gaming, kind of behind, but around Nintendo Classic, maybe a few years prior, all of a sudden you were in again. I mean, that I think
so Justin,
I'm trying to figure out the year. I think it was 2012 when I started getting into retro gaming again. And so I don't know. Maybe you guys were earlier than that. Maybe you guys never stopped.
No, it did. It helped spark. It definitely helped spark my. I think the NES Classic helped spark my console nostalgia again. Right. It was like it really got me excited about consoles again.
Right. I mean, I was modding the Xbox original so I could play Super Nintendo for the first time with a component video through their emulator.
I mean, think about it.
But then
it
kind of took a break after the Wii, you know?
Think about it, though, Justin. Why do you go and why are these mini consoles so popular? They're popular because they come with a controller that looks like the original. It's a mini version that looked like the original. So you're willing to fork up the cash because you're like, hey, I've probably pirated this game like a billion times over, but you're still willing to do it. And that's important. Like, it's the love of the game and it's the nostalgia of the device and the controller and everything like that. But when you like go into this soulless mode where you're now no longer looking, that's no longer important to you. It does get like it. We're talking about some stuff right here, guys, that is like intense kind of stuff. Because on one hand, we kind of do it, and on the other hand, we would prefer that people buy it and support the companies because then it allows retro gaming to continue. Because if at some point it pivoted so far in the direction that no one cared about an Arcade1up with graphics, no one cared about these little numbskulls, no one cared about new wave toys. If no one cared about that because they're like, I'm going to buy one new wave toy and I'm going to load 10,000 games, and everyone believed that, then all these products just wouldn't even exist. They would cease to exist. So it's this weird, AtGames has it at their fingertips to do a store to do licensed games, and they're choosing to go this weird other path. Maybe, but the problem is I don't know what path they're on because they're going on like 10 different paths at the same time. Because you could go, oh, well, ArcadeNet's still here, and they're still using it, and they're still adding games to it, but it's still free. Are you going to ever charge for ArcadeNet? But then here's where the weird business person comes up in me. If I can do coin ops for free on my AtGames, then why the hell do I want to pay for ArcadeNet? You know what I mean? Like, it's also a weird business decision. Like, it doesn't make sense. So I'm confused by it. Do I think it has good controls? Do I think it has good accessibility to like Steam? Yeah, it really does. If you're into modern gaming and you already have a Steam library, it's kind of cool. It maps the controls all awesome. I like that about the product. This weird angle where they're going, I don't get. I just don't get it. I'm sorry. And that's just me being completely open and honest. And I chose not to do any more videos on it because I don't know what I would be saying at this point. Here's another firmware update. Like, you guys can go read the release notes, or there's a lot of videos on those things too. It just doesn't interest me. So, but the content's out there if you want to find it, Anyway.
Okay, Ralph.
I feel like I ran.
Nice,
did I
nice
rant?
job.
I hope.
I think that was a round. I think we should jump straight to final thoughts. How can you do it while your brain is still scrambled from the rant? Take a breath. Take a deep breath. Ready?
It's all right. Okay. Hey guys, it's final thoughts time. So what did we learn in today's episode? Well, totally unexpectedly, I learned that there is indeed, there's two eyes in iiRcade, except one eye is silent. And I had no clue, so that's kind of interesting. We learned that with all Kickstarters, we need to proceed with caution, and we were just trying to educate you in some research that we found, and that's all there is to that. We're trying to give you information that we found to let you make an educated decision on what you're going to do. We're not forcing your hand one way or the other. We learned that Justin in the pre-show was completely ignoring everything. And even though I said I didn't want to talk about this topic, he did it. He done did it anyways.
All right.
And I also learned, I learned one more thing, but I forgot now. Oh, I also learned that I own a business selling full-size arcades that I didn't even know about. But Justin has told me that I run an arcade, a reselling business.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
I did also, my one other final thought is, I hope we, as Justin and Ralph, and I'm putting words in his mouth, we trust you guys with some of the information that we're giving, and we don't want our words to be twisted, but we're just giving you information and giving you our feelings and thoughts about things. So there's, with that is a lot of responsibility in that, and we trust that you guys will carry the torch and take our information for what it's worth. And I don't know where I was going with that. So that final thought is completely thrown out the window.
That's right.
I do like this name, though. Retro Ralph's Resale sounds awesome.
RRR. Pretty good.
No, come on. Don't make fun of the R's or the I's. And my son, and I learned that in the middle of a show, he wouldn't care if there was 10,000 people watching. He'd still ask for $10 on Fortnite. He doesn't care.
How much is that costing you, man? You probably spent more money on Fortnite than Caps.
Probably a ridiculous amount of money. But his character's wearing a fuzzy sweater that looks really cool, even though it does absolutely nothing for the character as far as its power, strength, or anything that might help you in the actual game itself.
All right, very good.
All right.
The Arcade. So, how much time do you have, Ralph? How much time do you have left, Ralph? Can you
0 minutes. I don't have any minutes left. Why?
Let's squeeze 5 more out of you.
0.0.
We're gonna do 5 more. Okay, so here's how the 5 more minutes is gonna work. Ask your question right now. I know there was a lot of people that were asking questions through the chat, like, what's the best encoder to use? We're gonna do a rapid fire question, and we'll try to answer those really quick, and then we'll end the stream. Just a few minutes.
Okay. So wait, you're gonna ask? We're gonna take questions right now. I didn't know this new.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here. I don't think I'll be the best man. I'm guessing your brother is your best man. That's just my guess.
Actually, my son is actually. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not your brother?
No, my son. So yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, what are the questions? Are there questions?
Yeah. Here they come. They're coming in, man. From the Stranger Film. Should he invest in iiRcade?
That's all. That's messed up, Stringer Films. That's messed up. You did what I'm telling you not to do. I'm trusting you with the information. You do what you want. I am investing in it, but that's all I'm saying about that. All right. Well, there was actually a question about what was the best light up marquee. So if you're talking about Arcade1up light up marquees, then the best one to me is there's 2. Actually, there's 2 that are really close. Arcade Game Factory. His name's Scott Evans, owns that company. And then there's another one by Angel Otiro. I think those are really good. Now, one has a web store, and the other one you kind of have to go access him through Facebook and stuff. So it's a little bit easier to order from one than the other, but I wouldn't let that deter you either way. They're both really good products. So I like those 2. Those 2 seem to be the go-to ones these days.
That's right. And then so when you're going to buy tickets for all the fans, right? And they're going to come. Of
course. Everyone's getting a ticket to the wedding, of course. Of course.
See, keep in mind, I can't be the best man for Ralph because I'm going to be filming live. No, I won't. Although
someone did ask if it was going to be live streamed.
Is it going to be live streamed?
Maybe. But not for the show. That wasn't the whole intent. I'd probably get murdered if it was live streamed for the show. What are my thoughts about John D confirming Silver Strike emulation? So, I don't know really. So there is an Android and an iPhone version of Golden Tee, and there's a really cool video out there, Justin. I didn't send this to you. Someone sent it to me like a couple weeks ago. Someone in certain Android software, you can map your like touch screen to controls. And someone had done a mod where they're doing a modern Golden Tee with the Android version with arcade controls and like a trackball. It was so crazy. So I think they're gonna. I don't know, man. I actually am on the fence on whether I think that's gonna happen. To be honest, I know John said that. I'm guessing it was 2004, the 2004 version of Silver Strike, which I believe was the first one. I can see them maybe being able to pull that off with the hardware they have. The problem is that game is so tied to specific things in the hardware. It's got like the security code. It has the I/O board. So we'll see. Maybe they'll do it. We'll see. Here's
this question real quick. That was for me. You know, we've been looking for a larger screen. If you did want to upgrade like the Arcade1up, newer cabinets to a larger screen. This one's really tough. It can be done, but I don't think it can be done. I challenge anyone in the community to actually do a really good mod for the problem is the original PCBs actually output 960 4x3. Which is an uncommon resolution, but it's the best resolution to do. And that's widely available in 17-inch. It's not widely available in other resolutions. Go try to find one. You're probably like, I know where I can find a 24-inch. Oh, Justin doesn't know what he's talking about. I can find a 24-inch. Yeah, it's probably 16:9. It's probably 5x4, which I don't recommend. Which, by the way, the iiRcade, one of the reasons why I'm going to get one, but I Why is it 5x4? Come on, seriously. You know why it's 5x4? Not because it's good for vertical resolution, like Jung claims. It's because that's all you can get with 19-inch. Like, go find a panel that's 19-inch that's 4x3. I couldn't find one. Like, you go.
Yeah, there's that
try
website.
To find.
If you guys really want to be, Justin has brought me into this. This is the topic Justin decided to cover. You can go. So if you want a 4x3 aspect ratio screen, and you want to really go down a rabbit hole, is go to a screen. I think the website's called Panel Look. It basically gives you every LCD panel there is. Right. And it gives you the manufacturer. It gives you, sometimes it ties back to the manufacturer, like how many they have, how many they've made. And so it's interesting because you can kind of see why companies like Arcade1up and AtGames are using the monitor they're using. There's a ton of these BOE monitors. There's a ton. So it's like
they're widely available. And so if you want to go larger than 17-inch, you probably want to go to 69, which is what they put in the AtGames.
So Arcades is a pretty smart dude, and he's challenging you. He said 21-inch could be.
Yeah, I remember seeing one. Now, hold on. Will it actually fit though? I believe the dimensions of the panel exceed the what's available on that cabinet. So, I mean, that would be the dream, right? The dream would be, hey, if you wanted to upgrade the monitor on the modern Arcade1up cabinet, go from 17-inch to a larger screen, you're going to have to find one that's 4x3 that can handle 960, that has a really good contrast ratio, and it has a really low delay time, the latency, right? The response time. And the Arcade1up that they got, it's like 14 milliseconds response time, 1,000 to 1 contrast ratio.
Arcades was really good. Arcades was like, look, CRT's for life anyway, so it's all good.
That's right. What else we got?
All right. Someone said you're tongue-tied, but that's not necessarily a question. Zohar has referred one of our listeners and viewers to a anger management therapist, I guess. So I didn't know Zohar could actually do that. That's pretty cool. I don't think he does it. He's saying can refer. And then he's saying, why don't I answer his DMs? So I don't know what he means there. So I don't know. Zohar, I try to get back to you as often as I can. So I'm sorry if I can't. I'm actually getting really bad at these days. I will admit something. The channel has grown way more than I ever thought it would. When I think back of it having like 500 subscribers, it was so much easier to stay on top of questions, and people would say, I'm building this, I'm building that, and it was awesome, but it's almost like impossible now. It's like I try when I have free time to answer some here and there, but it's actually gotten pretty overwhelming. It's almost impossible to get to everyone, which sucks, but someone's asking me if he's sliding into my DMs. So that's a term. If you guys don't know, that's a term you would use if if you're a male that's looking at a female and you have the eyes or hearts for her, but you don't really feel confident enough to see her in person. You can slide into her DMs and say, "Hey, babe, you look pretty good. Like, my name's Retro Ref or whatever. You can say, hey, how you doing?" And they can go the other way too. So sliding into the DMs is a term used by people much younger than us. But Beers with Joe, are you sliding into anybody's DM? I don't know. What about the giveaways? So I actually do have the winners of the giveaways, and it's just been a matter of I'm trying to find boxes to actually ship the things in. I picked two really awkward things. Those little numbskulls are actually hard to ship out. So I will announce that on the community page of both 1UP Weekly and Retro Ralph, and we'll get that to you guys. Can I say I'm Retro Ralph too? I don't know what that means. Hey baby, my name is Retro Ralph. Got to use that line sometime. Okay. We got a Happy Father's Day message. That's cool. Everybody else that's a father out there, Happy Father's Day. There's actually some viewers that are new fathers. I got some baby pictures. It was either like earlier today. One of the viewers had a baby. I can't remember his name. Let me see if I can pull it up really quickly. And then let's see. Do
it, dude.
Hold on. I gotta find him. It was. Hold on. Give me one sec. I feel like it's coming. Oh man, I can't find it right now. Shoot. Oh, it's Jason Overby. He sent a picture of his baby. They just had a baby. So congratulations, Jason.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty awesome.
Very cool.
It's funny because he's like, just watch your NBA Jam review on YouTube. I was disappointed to see that one of your 3 friends was not Classic Kim. But then I thought she could be the one hiding in the gorilla mask to stay anonymous. And then it's a picture of him and his baby, and it says, here's my new arcade playing partner, and it's a picture of his baby, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, so that was pretty fun. That was pretty cool to get today. So I don't know if he's watching right now, but that's pretty cool.
Very cool, man.
I think that's it. I think we're done. This is a way too long end to the show.
And I got to know your name.
All right, let's go.
And I could trace your private number, baby. All I know that to me, you look like you're lots of fun. Open up your loving arms. Watch out, here I come. You spin me right around, baby, right around.
Are you ending the show? What are we doing right now?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Someone said something about Wedding Singer, and I was like, I know that song. I love that.
Zohar will be super excited to know we're really close to being able to do super chats again. So he's like, we've been saving him all this money. He can't wait. I'm just joking, Zohar.
You spin me right around, baby, right around like a record.
Okay,
baby,
Justin.
right
Justin. Hey,
what?
Closing time. Let's wrap it up.
All right.
We gotta go. I gotta go. I can't actually stay here, but you're
closing time. Open up the doors and let you out into the world. Can you believe it? We did it on a Saturday.
I know.
Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So gather up your jackets.
No.
What?
Gather up your ROM files.
So gather up your ROM files. Move it to what?
The ALU.
I hope you have found a friend. Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Closing time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
All right, guys. Justin, that was so elegant. I love it. I love it. Someone asked, what did we learn tonight? We can't do another one. But I love.
What did we learn since we did our last What Did We Learn?
No, we didn't. No.
Okay, anyway.
All right, someone Sling Spade keeps asking about the claw machine. We are going to cover the claw machine. We'll cover it, I promise. Maybe in the next Sunday, maybe the next Sunday's episode, because we're not doing one this Sunday. I'll do it from the room downstairs where the arcades are, and we'll talk about it. I was even thinking we could do something cool, put a camera in the claw machine, have a claw machine cam.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a good Father's Day. Take care. Thanks for joining us on a Saturday night. And remember, no one knows what we talked about. It's top secret. Shh. Okay. Bye, guys. Is it creepy when I whisper? Yeah. You're damn right it is.
We'll see you on the next one.